I also forgot to like mention basically something basically about the guitar basically the last time when I charted it basically there was one animation like note that I kind of missed, but basically which I don't know why I just didn't look like that much though at it though. So let me just take a look really quick. So yeah, sometimes if you feel like that if you did basically like miss something though, then yeah, that's mostly why it's always the necessary reason to always go back and just make sure to check them all just to see if you got them right. Actually, I think maybe if I go all the way back though, I think this is I think this might be like I think the problem might be like right here. Yeah, I totally didn't do that one at all. I don't know why I didn't do it in the first place. There we go. Alright, so let's make sure to check. Let's make sure to also check any of the other notes just to be sure, like, so then we'll know which ones that we missed. Alright, so I think we're good now. Alright, so anyway, now that guitar is now basically charted. Don't know why Reapers keeps doing the save errors every time, but at least it's still saving now. No, at least there's no problem there. But yes, it just sometimes happens though if you don't say if you like take into too long into to save in Reaper though. But at least that reason really shouldn't get you worried about like being able to do Rock Band customs at all. So yeah, don't worry about it. Alright, anyway. So anyways, now that we charted the guitar, so this next instrument that we are going to be teaching in this tutorial is I'm gonna show you how to chart drums basically though. And the thing is, drums are basically kind of difficult to play, but they are kind of a little easy to like they are a little easy to chart basically. So yeah, so the thing is, they're easy to chart, but they're like hard, but they're just a little, but they're kind of difficult to play. So like for sure though. So I'll just like show you the basics basically of like how charting drums works. And one thing I need to basically show you really quick, basically on the C3 RB3 template. I actually forgot to point it out last time. When you're doing the part drums track, basically on the C3 template, just in case if you hear any toms basically whatsoever. Oh, and by the way, these are basically the dummy notes for the Magma C3 template as well though. Just in case that if you are actually lazy, and if you and if you don't want to really like ever be like charting like hard, me, or easy basically, or you basically just want to like do a preview of your song, but basically it's not recommended at all times. So anyways, since that there is like a lot of songs basically in songs basically in tracks that does have beats, it should make it easier for it should make the drum sounds all more easy to hear basically though. So just so you don't have to basically like worry about struggling though, since it means. So remember, so this is another thing I forgot to point out back in part 4. Always try to chart the notes of the sounds you hear basically in the actual track, and just not just using the tabs all the time, just because there could be a moment where there could be like some songs that you would want to chart, but they do not have tabs available for that. So yeah. So the thing is that sometimes it can be difficult to like find a what is it, some guitar and bass to tabs basically for like a lot of the songs. I mean, there are a couple of them on the internet, but most of them are like not available. Basically though. And also, I have like absolutely figured out like why harmonics basically in the first place basically used the instrument stems for a song, and the only time that they were only able to use it is that they had to own the right own the license rights, but basically though from the other bands in order to basically do it, which basically means they have to get permission basically from them, and I think you have to purchase it or something like that. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, not being able to just release like master recording songs basically in a rock band or a Guitar Hero game is just basically, it's called licensing issues, and basically due to that, but basically, you know, they weren't able to do that. So instead that they had to like write a cover basically of those songs. And sometimes if people are going to be using a regular MP3 track to really be like charting custom songs, still there could, like I said, there could be a chance that there might not be instrument stems for a certain song. Like when I was like looking up Aerosmith's Pink last time, whenever I was doing the custom of that though, there was no way that I was just gonna like ever absolutely find any instrument stems, because it's totally not on YouTube, and it's not on the internet either. Like I don't know why, but the only way I was only able to release custom song was only from sorry, basically from the like from the regular MP3 track, that is the backing that I had to download from YouTube, and there was just no way that I was just going to be able to just find stems on YouTube, because taking instrument stems from a song that is owned by a band is illegal, because then they would call a lawsuit if they did that. And you really don't know that lawsuits are bad, you know. You really don't want to encounter those when you're doing custom song stuff. So it means you do not want to steal the you really do not want to take their instrument stems completely from the song without permission, basically from the band first, by making sure you purchased up the license rights of those bands in order to get access to them. So that basically means if you do not basically like, because it means if you didn't do it yet, then you gotta absolutely like purchase the license rights in order to really to be able to use those instrument stems for a custom song. So yeah, the thing is, don't try to absolutely like steal any of them basically, and don't even like try to seriously ask other guys, even on like Discord basically, or even on the C3 forums, where basically to be asking for instrument stems, because they might not offer it to you. Like I said, there are some songs that have instrument stems for you to download, but not all of them do. So you really gotta believe that. Like I'll basically show you this really quick. Well, I'll show you an example in a second. So like I said, just hang on for a minute. Let me drag this down for a minute and just bring this up. Now you can basically see is whenever you basically like bring this up, which would be the what was it called? Which would be the so anyways, this time when you bring up the Pro drums basically though. So yeah, I'll be able to show this to you now. Let me just like zoom in really quick so you can see this. See, yeah, sometimes usually a red note would be a snare, right? But then now when you place a yellow note, this time though, it'll show a yellow symbol and not just a normal yellow note. If this was on standard drums, it would just show as a regular yellow note. But as for that though, Pro drums is basically the way to go. if you are basically using the Rock Band 3 template from the C3 website, you download it. And then if you put like a blue note, it will be a ride symbol, a blue symbol. And then you know it, the green symbol. If you would show it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so yeah, that's basically, so those are the yellow, blue, and red symbols that you can just use. And you can still hit them as well, but only if you're playing on pro drums on Rock Band 3. If you're playing this, so if you're playing normal drums, or if you're playing like Rock Band 2 drums, or Lego Rock Band drums, then it would be standard drums all the time. So it means it would just be showing regular notes. But if you basically are playing pro drums, and if you want to have like some of them to be toms, basically though, here I'll show you an example of this really quick. If I could just, like, I'll show you an example of this really quick. Let's say that I basically like make a pattern like this, right? And then if I did not put any tom markers at all, it would just be snare, and then just 4 snares, 4 hi-hat cymbals, 4 ride cymbals, and 4, actually no, and then like, yeah, and 4 crash cymbals. Like it would not, that wouldn't really represent as a correct drum pattern. So instead, in order to fix that, basically though, there are some note rows up here that you can use, which is pro yellow tom, pro blue, and pro green tom. So then that means if you put that over, you can now see is that as long as the yellow tom note row is basically on top of those notes, it'll turn those into toms. But if you trying to do that on any other ones, it won't turn it. So remember, it has to like match the color, but basically of the MIDI note that you put in. And then let's say you can do this as well on the green notes as well. So snare, tom 1, tom 2, and then floor tom. Now I would mostly assure you that I'm pretty sure that tom 1 and 2 are both rap toms. Like I'm pretty sure that's what they're called basically though. Like I'm pretty sure, like no wonder why it's just called tom 1 and tom 2 basically though. But if I'm basically wrong though, then you might as well just go and remind me in the comments then. I mean, if anyone else can basically like read the comment basically though, of the tips basically that you sent over basically to this tutorial basically though. I mean, you might as well spread that out to everyone else too, you know, just so then they can learn how to play instruments, you know, especially on Rock Band. But anyways. So anyway, if you do want to at least like make a pattern with toms basically though, then you can basically just use these rows like right on top, from like 110, 111, and 112 basically though. But you may have to like basically keep in mind is that if you are doing this for Rock Band 2 though, then you will have to like at least understand is that Rock Band 2 does not support pro drums basically ever though. So instead, they basically just use standard drums to do that instead. And like I said, there are roll markers 1 lane, which would basically mean that if you have this on basically though, it's not going to show it basically on the MIDI editor, but whenever you like look at it in the game basically though, like whenever you basically like look at it basically in the game basically, you know, then what you basically might see is that it's kind of like a sort of a free, it's some sort of like a long fat note basically on drums that would look like freestyle notes, except that this time they're roll markers basically, which should make hitting super fast patterns more easier. For 2 lane, same thing. Make sure to put that up there. But in order to basically make a but then in order to basically make a drum pattern basically like that, then you might want to do this. So basically, so yeah, the 2-lane, so the 2-lane / symbol roll markers are absolutely only for notes like this. Basically, it doesn't matter like which or it does not. It doesn't really matter how wide it is, or like how thin the patterns basically are though. Like even if you do it like this though, it'll still count. Sorry. Okay. So anyways, as long as you basically at least remember those mechanics for drums, and then as long as you hear any like any toms basically though in the song though, then you can basically just use the 110, 111, and 112 rows on the MIDI editor, which should absolutely like make charting drums more easier than just trying to only do it for Rock Band 2, only as standard drums. But anyways, all right. So anyways, now that I have like absolutely shown you basically though how you can basically chart probe drums basically though on the C3 RB3 template though, what I'm going to basically be doing now is I am going to be showing you how to actually chart the drums basically though for Get Ready to Rock. And the way I'm going to be doing it this time is I'm going to be using an image basically from the Score Hero website. This is basically the Score Hero website anyway. So basically, the Score Hero website is basically a site that basically has like people uploading scores basically on the actual like disc / DLC songs that was originally made by Harmonix basically in the first place, and they also have like a general Guitar Hero / Rock Band discussions on there as well. I mean, and they also used to have forums to answer like questions that they ask basically. It used to like do that before, but they don't do that anymore, so that kind of sucks though. But just in case that if you do just want to make like custom songs of the actual tracks that is just from like Rock Band 1, Rock Band 2, and then any of the other any of the other Rock Band games that they do have images like showing basically though, and it does have all that except for Rock Band 3 and Rock Band 4, which I don't know why though. So it means if you really are doing a song basically from like Rock Band 3 and then Rock Band 4, basically you might have to like figure out the tempo maps yourself, and then figure out like how it's set, and then and if you're also doing a vocals track basically from like Rock Band 3 or 4, or just from a general song basically that doesn't exist in Rock Band, or if it was a song that doesn't exist in Rock Band but exists in Guitar Hero, then you'll probably have to like use a chromatic tuner to do that, which I'll tell you about that once we get to charting the vocals. Because so anyways, for now we're charting drums, so let's just get to it for now. Alright, so first of all, let me show you how I got here basically on this web page. So the thing is that when you get to the Score Hero website, the first thing that you will want to do is you find the Score Hero wiki though, which I'll basically show you really quick. If it would let me though. So yeah, so basically typing in scorehero.com will like sometimes basically like have websites. It'll sometimes show up like this basically though. This is what it'll look like when you basically go to the official home of the Score Hero website. And in order to find chart images, you gotta go to the Score Hero wiki, and then find the Guitar Hero or Rock Band game that you want to do. So basically, in the Rock Band series, there's only 4 games that that do show up on there. And I also do know that Lego Rock Band songs also showed up on this website as well. Like they did basically show up in every single Rock Band game though. I don't know. Like I do but I do know that it mostly showed up in Rock Band 1 and Rock Band 2 on this website. But it never showed up in the actual game. I mean, you can play Lego Rock Band no. You can play the Lego Rock Band exports in Rock Band 2, but not Rock Band 1. So yeah. Good thing that Rock Band 2 is much better than Rock Band 1, to be honest with you. Anyway, so click Rock Band 2, and you can basically see here is that there's like a lot of songs that you can basically just put in basically don't that you can basically just that you could basically just look up images of, and it should basically help you out like massively if you're working on a song that's mostly from Rock Band 2, or if it's a song that exists in Rock Band 2, but if you wanted to do a cover of that song on Guitar Hero. Like if you want to do Get Ready to Rock from Guitar Hero 1 though, then the most thing to do is to chart the GH1 guitar chart first of the song, and then just go ahead and just go for finding the original chart, the original song, and looking up their charts, and see that if you can chart it that the same way on the cover of it too, like charting the drums and then like charting the bass as well. And for vocals, you probably could find some similar pitches in there, but sometimes you could just try to look for it. All right, so Get Ready to Rock is basically the one is in the G the G section. So I'm gonna click that, and you can basically see on this score here what and you can see here basically when I click the song, it shows the song stats and overdrive pathing. So it shows the instruments and the difficulties as well though. So it says Get Ready to Rock by Freeze Pop, Rock Band 2, and it's available for 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Like if you're wondering what those two were basically for playing that song, that's only for Rock Band 4. So yeah, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 is only for Rock Band 4, which again I would not recommend going to that game, because you cannot play customs at all on Xbox One unless if you have a modded PS4 that is basically at least version 5.07 to make customs work basically though. Like if your PS4 if your PlayStation 4 is basically modded to that, then yeah, you can play customs on Rock Band 4. But in the Xbox One version, it's not possible. And I heard that you can play 360 customs, and I did see some video proof that you can but play custom songs on the Wii version, even on the PS2 version. Like it's crazy, isn't it? Like I really saw like PlayStation 2 customs on Rock Band 2 last time. Although I have not actually found any Rock Band 2 custom footage of on the PlayStation 3 versions. I don't think you can do it in the PlayStation 3 version, but I think you can basically though. I mean, like you can go and try that out if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest with you. But like I say, if you want to, go for it. It's up to you. And then if it doesn't work out, then my only suggestion would just to be only play those customs on just Xbox 360 or Wii, and I would mostly recommend Xbox 360 though, because it is the far more superior and easier of a version to use to play custom songs on there, and it does save much time without having to use C3 Contools that much. Especially for when you're like using the Rock Band when you're using the C3 RB3 template though, you really don't need C3 Contools like that much in order to make Rock Band 2 customs. All you basically just need is just this program to do it. And like I said, once we get to packaging the song, I'll show you what that does. So anyway, anyways, as I was basically saying before, you can see that there are different instruments in different difficulties, and there are also like different parts of the of the song that you can basically chart on as well, like guitar and bass, guitar and drums, guitar and vocals, bass and drums, bass and vocals, drums and vocals. No, and 3-part, which is all instruments except for like one, and then the full band. But basically though. And the thing is, getting like a full band like FC basically though, it's just really like difficult. Like because you need to have four players basically playing the song at your basically at your house or online. And there's only one Rock Band game, but basically that does not have an online mode, and they have and there has to be people that is basically good at Rock Band basically, and they have to be over at your house in order to get the practice makes perfect achievement for that game. And I really don't know why though, but it had to be done though. So at least Rock Band 2 at least had an online mode though. So in case if you are wanting to play customs online with other people around the world that know you kind of, or that have been like Xbox friends with you, then yeah, Rock Band 2 is the way to go. But if you want like, but if you basically like want to basically like play through the career mode like all the way through on easy basically though, then Lego Rock Band is really the only game that will only let you do that. And like I said, there is no online mode, and there are a lot of achievements that can be easy to get, but there are like a few of them that are not easy to get. Like it's like the final countdown achievement is that you have to get like 100% on the guitar solo of the final countdown, and it has to be on expert though, and it has to be in free play as well. Like you can't just do it slowly in practice mode. It absolutely has to be either in free play or in the story mode. Well, about the free play, I meant from either the actual story mode or from the main menu though. And like I said, you totally cannot like just get that achievement just on practice mode being that slow. Like, to be honest with you, just mostly saying no. There really is just like no reason for that though. Okay, just give me a minute really quick. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Oh wow, actually, it's actually doing it again. Hang on. Okay, all right, there we go. Sorry about that. I was basically just playing a recording, basically on my TV, basically just so then I want to get bored of like doing this tutorial while I'm like basically just doing all this boring charting. But anyway, let's really get to it now. So to find the drum chart or the bass chart, you have to click expert on either one. So like I said, we're going to be doing drums next. So we're going to go to expert drums, and now you can basically see here is that there's an info box basically of how they were basically playing this song basically though on this game, Rock Band 2, and how the song was really released. So it's in the downloaded songs basically though, and look at that, only 3 people have posted their Discords on the website, and they got 3 stars basically on that song. Only 3 people did that on expert. Like, that's just weird, isn't it? But I mean, but it does, at least it does make sense, you know. I mean, like, people are sometimes like not good at Rock Band, or sometimes they're not even good at drums or vocals as well though. So they usually just like upload their scores with 3 stars. Like, that's kind of funny. But yeah, but that's fine though. It's only 3 people that got it already. 84% got gold. No, 84 players basically got gold stars basically though, but they didn't get but they didn't FC the song whatsoever. And a multi-share of 46% have done that, have like FC the song on expert drums on Rock Band 2. So you can basically see there's the song title, the artist, the game that it's on, the platform it can be played on, the downloaded songs, the difficulty, and here's there's the link basically for the chart, just in case that if you need to look at it. And then you could see the top score, LO7 basically though, they basically posted the his top score for this song on drums on expert. And the number of scores, there's 144 of them for this song. But anyway, in order to be charting drums for this custom song, you just have to just go to the link and try to see if the chart image is available. If it does, then great, then you can still use it. So the drums basically start at measure 20. So we'll get started with that for now. So now first of all, let's go ahead and just open this up, and we're gonna go ahead and just get started then on charting this song on drums. So first of all, let me move this just so that I can find out. Okay. So like I said, 20 is where it starts. Again, forget about the lag. Okay, well, it kind of does, basically, though, but... I guess we're not going to do it yet, then. Yeah, I gotta wait. Be back in a bit. Sorry about that. Mom basically came down here, but she had to get some, she basically just had to, get something, though, but in 1 hour, though, she is going to be coming back down. So if she does, I'll have to, cut that out. Completely though, and then I'll be able to, and hopefully I'll still be able to continue doing this tutorial though. But anyway, I've laid down the first note already though. I mean, it may not look right, but basically though, but it's really the best I can find now. But anyways, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to go all the way back here and move this idle text event to be in the correct spot. So instead of just moving it, I'm going to set the position just by typing it in. So put a 2 there, and change this 1 to a 3, and now when I place it, see, it's not at 3 anymore. So now if I go back, and if I go to that position now, it should put it there. Oh, actually, I didn't do it right. It's 22.3, not 23.3. Okay, right there. That is absolutely how it's supposed to go. Yeah, I mean, although I don't know why it's just doing that for some reason. Hang on. Let me see if this is right for a minute. Okay, so it doesn't start there. It starts there. Yeah, so the drums are really sounding a bit different on this song, though. I mean, like, sorry that if I'm just sounding confused here, basically, of like how I'm supposed to be doing it, basically. But it's just that, I mean, this drum cover is just sounding a bit different though. So I don't think I can, like, maybe you can you use that image then just to make things easier though. So I'll probably have to like try to figure this out myself. Yeah. So sometimes that could basically that's basically another thing that sometimes authors will sometimes have to deal with. Like, if the image basically though, if the image is basically like not showing the proper notes, basically up the song note, then it's really up to them to just figure it out on their own. And I just really, like, I don't know why sometimes Harmonix just does this though. Like they totally didn't like they didn't even do the like drum chart correctly to like match the GH1 cover. Like the same notes though, you know. Oh wait. Oh wait, hang on. I forgot that there was this in the way. I forgot that the other like half of the like of the GH1 Get Ready to Rock video, it was there still. I forgot to delete it, so hang on for a minute. Yeah. I mean, so the video file is not in the correct place, to be honest with you. So yeah, so that's basically like a thing that you will also that's another thing that you also have to deal with. Basically, sometimes there could be like video files that have rock band songs that are like not in the correct spot. So that means the only way to fix that is that you have to basically like just move them in order to get them to be played right. And I don't know why it does this every time though, but it does. Like, it's just sounding confusing for some reason though, and I don't know why. But at least maybe the next time we chart the bass though, it'll be a little easier. Okay, yeah. So this is gonna just pretty much take a while. So before I actually just do this really quick, maybe I'll just go ahead and just. So I'll just basically go and just show you the basics then of just charting drums anyway though, before I figure this out myself. So I'm gonna open this up. So the way that you can basically chart the drums is, you can see if you put a kick note in there, it'll basically show an orange line, which is basically a kick note. So it means once it runs through it, it'll play that note. And then if it's a red note, then it is basically a red note. And so the thing is, the red note is usually a snare. And then it'll put play through that once you chart it. And then yellow is basically either tom 1 or the hi-hat symbol. That can still be played as well. And then blue is basically either the ride symbol or tom 2. And yeah, it can be played through that. And expert green is either the floor tom or the crash symbol. Like, that's basically what it means. So basically you can do double notes as well though on drums though, just like you could like right here for green and for green and blue. You can do the same for green and yellow, and even like the same for green and red, basically. And if you have those double notes, then you could basically put like a kick note there, and it look like an actual like part of a drum pattern that you could just do. But you may have to basically keep in mind is that the only type of notes that you cannot author is this type, which would mean that you would need like 3 arms to play that, and if you had this, you would need like 4 arms to play that. And also, Rock Band does not allow that, or even this, basically. Though Rock Band will not allow 4 notes basically in the same spot, basically, because it's not possible to really hit like the snare, the hi-hat, the ride cymbal, and the crash cymbal at the same time. Like it's impossible, man. Like it's impossible. It's not possible, and it's not like logical to do. So yeah. But however, so basically the highest amount of like double notes that you can only do is only like 3. So it means the only way you can only make those double notes as the highest amount is that you need to at least have 2 colored notes, drum notes, and then make sure you only have a kick drum note, so then it'll make more sense to play, right? Anyways, so basically the solo marker is the solo marker basically for the drums is basically the same thing as the guitar though. So basically drum solos basically though are basically just like guitar solos, except this time the way you score points from the percentage is that this time you basically you basically just drum your way through the solo in order to score bonus points in the solo from getting the good enough percentage. So, and there's also another thing now. I mean, I think you probably can put overdrive markers in solo markers, but I think what I have mostly heard of is that you cannot ever put drum fills inside of a solo marker, but basically though, just because it's not allowed on Rock Band songs, to be honest with you though. And in the last rows I'll basically show you is basically the drum fills. So here's the thing: drum fills are massively required in order to activate overdrive, because if there isn't any, basically though, then there will be like no way at all to activate the overdrive. So the way that you're supposed to chart the drum fills, and in order to avoid getting errors basically on like Magma about the drum fills, try not to really like absolutely like put them too close to like overdrive markers, just basically just because they're basically because it's going to be like too quick basically to hit the drum cymbal, but like whenever you like hit the like whenever there's like a drum pattern that's basically an entire measure long, basically though, if you have like a really fast tempo though, then there's no way that you're allowed to have the drum fills that close, because then it's going to be too fast for them to just time right, basically though. So it means that if you got a faster tempo basically on the song though, then you might want to move the drum fills to be 2 measures ahead. So you can see the overdrive phrase ends at 1.263. And what I have saw from before on like the Magma errors about the drum fills is that between each overdrive marker and every drum fill, it has to be at least 2.5 seconds in order to make it look like it's timed right, or it'll just make it just difficult to hit, and there's no way that they'll be able to activate overdrive if they couldn't keep up with those fast drum fills. So yeah, that's why it's not allowed in Rock Band. So this one here should be 3.763. and that's not far enough. So what we need to do. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to like move the drum fill another measure. Wait, what's this one again? 1.263, and I said 3.763 is where it should be. And look, that is far enough. 3.789, which is basically 0.026 milliseconds ahead, which is basically just at the right spot to put that drum fill there, so then they will not mess it up like easily. I'm sorry that if I'm just like getting confused on like what button to press though. I mean, it's just that I'm just like not used to like record. I'm still like not used to just recording the tutorial for this while I'm eventually just doing the song now. So let me show you an example really quick of how turning a drum pattern basically works though. So oh my god. Alright, so anyways. So sometimes there are like a lot of like drum fills. No. There are basically like drum patterns that can usually go like this, basically though. And then whenever you basically like make a drum pattern basically like this though, then it can basically like absolutely go through that. So the thing is, you can absolutely make a drum pattern like that with like the snares and the crash cymbals, or you can basically just make a pattern like this, where it's basically blue notes, and then there is yellow notes as well. Like it goes single, double, single, double. Basically for the pattern though, and that's basically like what it usually is for the drums. But anyways, now that I've like shown you basically the basics of drums, I'm gonna basically cut from like right here, and I'll basically just get back to you basically though, once I basically at least just figure out like the first drum pattern at least though, and then I'll probably show that first drum pattern to you, and then I'll basically get back to you whenever I basically like finish charting the whole drums basically though, just because charting drums is gonna really take a while. I mean, like I said, charting drums can be pretty easy to do, but they do take a long time to build, basically just because of the drum notes and even the kick notes that you have to put down basically in order to like make sure you're doing it right. But yeah. And you just have to basically just remember is that there are like lower difficulties as well that we will have to fill in later, and the drum animations, but the good thing is we don't really need to fill in the drum animations basically like manually ourselves though, because there is a tool already in the Onyx program that can automatically fill those in for me if it does read the notes in the MIDI once you insert it into there. So yeah, sometimes there could be some notes that are like not right basically though, and then you'll like sometimes just have to really like what is it, and then you'll basically just have to like try to like manually adjust like some notes to just in case that if you hear any toms in the song, or if you see any of them from an actual rock band chart. So if you can basically remember all that, like especially with all these right here, the kick right foot is the kick notes that you mostly saw, which were the orange lines. The snare is the red note, hi-hat is the yellow, crash 1 and crash 2 are basically the green symbol note, and you can see here is that LH and RH means left hand, right hand. That's what it means, and RF means right foot. That's basically what it means. See this? RF means right foot. And you could see up here, the right symbol is the blue symbol note. Tom 1 is the yellow tom. Tom 2 is the blue tom, and then the floor tom is the green toms. All right. So if you got you got all that. All right, good. So in case if you forgot about it, make sure to rewind the video a bit, so then you'll absolutely see how it works on here. So I'll cut to I'll basically cut for a little bit until I can basically like figure out this drum pattern myself, because it is going to take a while to figure out, and I don't want you guys waiting all day just to basically learn this. So I'll see you in a bit. All right, so it really actually only took me at least like a few minutes just to figure out the pattern myself, basically though, for the drums though. I don't know, the setup is just getting like bad right now. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, damn it. I was trying to scroll to the left, but it was zooming out instead. But anyways, here's what I actually charted so far. I mean, I know that it's not gonna actually match the one in the video, but it's really like the best I can come up with that will match. Hold on. Okay. Hold on, is this right? Wait, I think it is. Hang on. Yeah, I think it is correct. So, all right. So now here comes the pattern of the song of drums that matches. So you can see here is after that crash cymbal and then the kick note, the next pattern is a red and a yellow, and then a yellow, and then the green. By the way, if you're basically like wondering why the notes are like wider looking like that, it's because it's on the slow tempo basically though. So it slows down to 95 basically though. So it is gonna look like that at first, but then once you basically get to 190, you'll see that it'll be a little shorter and it'll like go faster again. So yeah, that's basically how you can basically tell how wider or shorter that the notes will be depending on the tempo you set of the song. So anyways, so like I said, this, and then after that yellow cymbal note and the yellow hi-hat, the next one is a kick note, and then it's another red and yellow. Come on. So yeah, so you can basically see here is that's absolutely what it is like though. So and the pattern is almost repeating though, except it has no kick note there this time. So let's put a red note there, and then a yellow one. By the way, if you're basically like wondering how you basically snap notes to the grid, I forgot to mention this back in the previous parts. Do not turn this off. Believe me though, do not turn snap to grid off, because it is absolutely important though. And the reason why I absolutely say it's important, because if you're placing like notes down without the grid at all, look what happens. See, so yeah, like you could basically just see here is that you can see here is that this is totally like not right at all. Like it's very bad though. Like whenever you send that, whenever you basically send that bit basically though, when you basically send the C3 developers a MIDI, or if you basically show the MIDI to the viewers basically though, to be like that, like if you make a pattern like that is basically that is not absolutely right, like for sure though, like they will absolutely like make fun of you, like, but basically though, if the notes are really like not properly snapped right to the grid basically though, because it's pretty easy to figure out how to fix, you know. All you have to do is just enable snap to grid, and do not, just in case that if you do turn it off by accident. So yeah, do not turn this one off at all. And now, so that means now when you have snap to grid enabled, look at that. It's much easier to place the notes down without having it be in a really random spot for some reason. So yeah, thank goodness that the snap to grid option is absolutely there. So then it'll make things much easier. Anyway, back to charting drums now. And don't worry about like the lag that you're basically seeing basically on the video window when I'm like dragging this, like when I'm doing this, like I know it's doing that, but just ignore it. Like it's just really the Windows 7. It's my Windows 7 computer that is just doing that. It's really its own fault, and there's nothing that I can just do about it to fix that. So it's just staying like that forever, basically, just because it's a Windows 7 computer, you know, that I'm using. Anyways, let's get to it. And you can basically see here now is there's another pattern right there that is a little different. So this time after that the red and yellow double notes, there is a kick note right here, and then a red and yellow, and then there's a double kick like right here, like right there, that is basically behind the red and blue double double notes. So if you do this basically, then yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. And you can basically see here now is the next pattern is basically a little faster. Alright, so there, back on the fast tempo now. First of all, let me do this, just to be sure it's right. Now you could, so the pattern's basically repeating now, so after this the kick drum note, and then after that red note, it's gonna basically keep going and going and going and going. Now, like I said before, if there are some like similar patterns that you can just that you can basically just copy and paste in, like I did show you last time how to do that on guitar. Just try to just go back to the previous measure where you recognize that same drum patterns, and then just make sure to copy those and then just paste them into the next measure, just to be sure though. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to show you an example of that here, but I'll try my best to show that to you. Now remember, you may have to keep in mind is that some patterns might change basically though. So the thing is, try to absolutely like try to chart the patterns manually basically, instead of just trying to copy and paste most of them, because they might not sound the same, like for sure though. So try to absolutely like make sure that you really like you make sure that you really are like hearing the sound of the drums. So then you'll be able to figure out what it is though. Like like if you hear a snare sound, basically though, which is hang on. So if you hear a snare like this, so if you just ignore the other instrument sounds that it's playing, and if you really heard that drum sound, yeah, that's a snare. And then the ride cymbal is basically just so you basically that sound basically though just means that it's basically a ride cymbal. And then if you hear the psh, then that's a crash cymbal. Or if you hear like a light if you basically hear a soft cymbal, then it's normally a hi-hat. So that's basically the tip you can tell. And the floor tom basically has like a tom sound that is the lowest. Blue is pretty much the same. Is pretty much the same as the green, except it's a little higher. So it means the blue tom is basically the second lowest tom of the pitches of the drum sounds. And then the green tom notes are basically the dark are basically anyways, as I was basically saying, the blue toms are basically the lowest the second lowest pitch, then the green tom, and the green tom is basically the lowest pitched tom you can get. And the highest the highest drumming sound that you basically hear though from the regular notes and not just cymbals all the time is red, the snare. And then the yellow is basically just tom 1, which is a little lower than the red snare notes. So yeah, the yellow tom notes are basically like the second highest that you can do. So alright, so I'll show you. I'll still show you an example of charting drums. So let's keep going a bit here. So you can see is that the song is trying to like repeat itself though, but there is a little bit of differences in there. So I'll basically show that to you, or at least I'll try to though. Yes. So the blue ride cymbals is really the same. This is in the same location, so we don't need to worry about that. And then after these notes, there is a red snare note right there. And then there's a yellow tom note there. That's what that regular yellow note is on pro drums. It's definitely toms. So if you saw the same for blue and green, then yeah, they're tom notes as well. So yeah, if you see a regular note like that on drums on yellow, blue, and green though, then yeah, it's usually a tom note that you can basically hear. But anyways, you basically can get the idea here. Oh, and also here's a better example of a drum fill. You can basically see is that the green cymbal is basically usually charted by Rock Band by default. That you don't even have to actually chart it. Have to like chart the drum fills to be ending at the green cymbals basically though. Even if the song doesn't have it basically though, I mean like you can still absolutely you can still place the drum fills anywhere you want. But just make sure that. But try to at least just make sure the drum fills are like not too close to other drum fills or even any other like overdrive phrases at all. And make sure you don't put any drum fills in any drum solo at all because well, it's not allowed on Rock Band customs or even official Rock Band songs, to be honest with you. So see, I'll show you an example right now. So here's a drum fill like right here, for example. If I could just extend it. And then you can see though is that this drum fill is going right to the end of the green notes, so then you'll be able to know it's there. Be back in a minute. Alright, so even after like mom basically came down here again to cook though, I don't know. I think she would probably come down like one more time basically for tonight, basically before she goes to bed, basically though, but this time it shouldn't be too but this time, I mean, hopefully she doesn't really come down like that quick though. Anyways, after I have like have like cut from when mom came down here, when I showed you basically the ways to put in a drum fill basically though. I actually like finished up the whole drum chart off screen completely though. But since I had to basically just figure that out myself, since you probably already know how charting your drums basically what works by now, according to the mechanics of like how I showed you the chart drums, like basically though. But anyways, I tried my best to basically try to memorize those notes, and this is what I actually came up with. This time without the video window. Wait, hold on. Okay. Alright, so let me extend this a bit for now, so you can so you can basically see the notes more clear. And here's the actual drum chart that I've done for this song. The drums will start at 22.3. There they are. So this is really the best I came up with. This is the best I heard. So you can basically, so what you might have noticed basically is that I did see a pattern that was not right though. So that's basically another tip if you're charting an instrument basically though. Try to always like check back, basically, and make sure to at least like replay through the entire song basically though, of the instrument you charted, just to see that if you missed any like notes that are in the wrong place, or they're like the wrong type. If you're wondering what video file that I basically used, basically this time to chart the drums, I basically just dragged in the full band, rock band for what is it? The full band video basically of this song basically that existed in Rock Band 2 basically, and it was showing that in Rock Band 4 basically. So if you're doing like a different song rather than this one basically, which has the notes that are actually the same type, and if they're timed at the same beats basically, then yeah, it should be pretty easy for you to figure out once you look over the notes. So you can see in the actual guitar solo though, the drums are like not that hard to hit for this one. here's the outro. This outro, by the way, didn't exist in the Rock Band version. And there, that is the actual notes charted, basically, though. For the drums, basically, though. So the only thing I didn't fill in yet was only the drum fills, basically, though. So I'll show you how you're supposed to chart those really quick, and where you're supposed to put them. Now, now in order to do this, make sure you scroll all the way up to the drum fills rows, so you can fill those in. So, anyways, I'm gonna like shrink this for a bit so you can see the timing, basically, you know, so then you'll be able to notice how it's supposed to be, like where the drum fill is supposed to go. So 30.315, so it means the next drum fill has to be at least 32.815. So this one that's not far enough, so I gotta put it here. Right? Hold on. 30.315. And then the next one, then the drum fill has to be at least 32.815. And that's definitely far enough, so. See, even if you have like a drum fill that is basically, that is like that close to an overdrive phrase, though, I mean, there's nothing basically like wrong with that. You can still have the end of the drum fill basically just be touching that overdrive phrase though, but just make sure, but make sure that the overdrive phrase next to the drum fill is at least to the right, because if it's on to the left though, then then it's not allowed, because you can't really activate it that quick, like completely though, once you have the overdrive. So it means once you have the overdrive energy, like I said, basically from the Lego Rock Band drum tutorials, you absolutely need the drum fills in the song, basically, though, in order to absolutely chart the what is it? In order to like absolutely chart well, actually, let me phrase that. So it means the only way you can, yeah, drum fills are really the only way. I keep getting distracted for some reason though. Anyway, as I was really saying, for real this time, you gotta absolutely like make sure that you have to absolutely like make sure that you put a drum fill that is at least far enough from the right of the overdrive phrase, and then make sure to know that the closest that you can only put it at an overdrive phrase completely is make sure that the overdrive phrase is touching the right of the drum fill if you want it to be that close. But in case you don't want to though, then you can just like set it up like this, basically, though, where it's just like one measure behind the drum fill, and it is kind of mostly recommended to do that if there is the right number of measures to do it. Well, the right amount of measures to like do it right, so you know it. Anyways, after you have charted that drum fill, and after you like, well, meant to say, after you like wrote that drum fill to go through an entire measure, which by the way, that is absolutely recommended to always do when no matter like which tempo of the song you have. Whether if it's like a fast tempo though, it's always recommended to just have the drum fills go past one measure though. I mean, it basically kind of happened before on the Master of Puppets custom, basically though, where it was like short, where the drum fills were like a little short, were exactly the same measure, but they were it's exactly 1 measure long, but it's like pretty short, basically, just because of the fast tempo. But anyway, so I'll show you like how you're supposed to do those drum fills. Like I said, if it's basically a fast tempo though, you probably might want to like put it. You might want to put the drum fill to like absolutely be like 2 measures forward if you're on the fast tempo. But then if you're basically if you're basically doing a if you're putting it 1 measure forward basically, then you can only do that on the slow tempo. Make sure that it's like slower than 100 basically, slower than 100 BPM in order to like make sure that it's right. Because then if it's still like a little too fast though, then you probably might have to put the drum fills 2 measures forward still. But if it's like slower than that, then it's absolutely okay to just do like 1 measure at a time. Like completely though, just having like putting in drum fills to be like 1 measure forward. But as for a fast tempo or for a normal tempo though, it just has to absolutely be 2 measures forward, or it won't work. So that drum fill that I basically showed you showed you examples of last night, like the drum fill I showed you before from that previous clip was in 36. So I decided it was a little too far. So I just had to like just move it back 1 measure though. So it's just timed right. So good to know. So you can see here, it's now 2 measures forward from that previous drum fill. So just put it there and then just paste it. And you basically just can't keep doing this until you go through the end song. So here, I'll do one more time. Play through it. If you see an overdrive marker basically that is just there though, just don't worry about it. Just go through it and then just keep looking for empty spots. Okay, so right there. All right, so for real, one more before I cut this out. Okay, there we go. All right, so paste that in. So yeah, putting in drum fills is basically easy to figure out. You just have to try to remember how you're supposed to set up the gaps basically for each drum fill. Anyway, all right. So I'll see you in a bit once I get all drum fills in that I would want. So yeah, see you in a bit. Oh yeah. There's one thing I actually forgot to mention though. The easiest way for you to figure out if it's 2 measures forward without having to scroll further is it's recommended to zoom out, so then you could basically just go to each measure back and forth basically, in order to like make sure that you basically put them in the right spaces, just so then you don't have to keep scrolling to the right every time in order to place them in. But the truth is, make sure you have the cursor basically on the line before you paste it. Okay, so yeah, so there. That's the easiest way to figure that out. All right, anyway, now for real. See you in a bit. All right, so there. All right, so I finished placing in all those drum fills. So I'll show you this for a minute. I don't know why I'm always forgetting to turn it up first, just for the video. All right, so here are the drum fills that I did. You just gotta keep in mind is that the drum fills will not show up in the Romping Network preview on Reaper at all. It'll only show up when you're using them in the actual game.
This is what I do. I'm just a mark in a killing machine. It's time for me to die. It's time to wake up. It's already your 10 o'clock. You're pretty bored, but I'm in makeup. It's time to leave. It's time to get ready to rock the pretty boy. I can't remember what you don't have. It's such a shock. Pretty boy. I'm out of bed. It's time to leave. It's time to get ready to rock.
So there, that's basically how you're supposed to turn drums. Now, the thing is, I know that I didn't put the animations in yet, but we will get to that completely once we start filling in the lower difficulties, basically. Because there is a future in the Onyx program that will fill in the low difficulties for you and fill in the drum animations for you. Just so then you don't have to use the cat tools to do it. Except sometimes they will sometimes be like not right, like kind of on toms, basically, if you're like not using the right type of template. But I think if you use the C3RP3 template, and if you do, basically you use the pro drums, basically, though, and then if you did have tom notes, basically, though, in the drums chart at all, then yeah, I think it might set those up, so then it's just not cymbal notes all the time in snares. But yeah. But just in case that if it doesn't basically for you though, then that's basically fine. Like you can always just change it. Then that's basically fine. You can always just change those wrong animation notes to make them match in the same note row. Okay? And to put them at least into the note row that can absolutely just match it. Like if you hear like a tom note, basically, then you can still absolutely always just make sure that to put the animation notes. What is it? The animation notes for like the tom notes for the tom notes, basically, just in case that if it doesn't match up. Anyway, that is drums for, or anyway, that's the basics of drums for you. So, like I said, we will go back into drums later, in order to like make sure that we basically have to fill in the animations. Maybe check the lower difficulties first, as well, just to make sure that they are properly charted. Let me just do that really quick. So, oh my gosh, it doesn't seem like you can see it though. Let me turn the brightness down. Okay, there you go. All right, now you should be able to see it. So now you can basically see is in the drums track. Now there are notes, basically, that are inside it. So anyway, bass is absolutely the only chart left. Well, the only easy chart instrument. Actually, no. Bass is basically the only easy instrument left to chart before we can do the vocals in the later part. But anyway, so we'll go over that in the next part.